Now the video you guys have probably been waiting for, was the F-106A worth the grind? I hate to break it to you, but I think I overhyped this vehicle. Instead of being an overpowered vehicle, it just feels like a fancy F-104. Starting off strong, we have the speed stat. This vehicle has a top speed of 2,167 kilometers per hour, or 1,346 miles per hour. And on the deck, I could reach about Mach 1.2 before my wings gave up. This comfortably makes the F-106A one of the fastest vehicles in the BR. So for speed, it's going to get a 10 out of 10. Moving over to agility, the F-106 is actually quite interesting. It is extremely maneuverable at low speeds, but as soon as you start gaining speed, your maneuverability drops significantly. So while really helpful at low speed dogfights, you actually have to get to that speed for it to become useful. And when it's up to speed, your maneuverability is quite garbage, so it's going to get a 4 out of 10. Moving on over to offensive armament, you do get a 20mm Vulcan with 650 rounds, which is absolutely perfect for this BR. But on the other hand, you do get 4 internally mounted AIM-4 Super Falcon air-to-air missiles, and they can either be radar or IR guided. And they have 3 major downfalls. First, they don't retain energy very well. Second, they're kind of slow. And third, a lot of people are complaining about the fact that they don't have proximity fuse, although a lot of missiles at 9.3 don't get that either. This led to very inconsistent hit ratios and even missiles phasing through enemies. But if you're looking how to use them, I suggest you kind of just aim for people that aren't paying attention and that are very slow. So for offensive armament, it's going to get a 4 out of 10 just because the missiles are such a letdown. Defense will be let go for this vehicle because it is a 9.3 and flares and chaff are not common at this BR. For CAS, this vehicle literally gets no CAS let out, so you only have your 20mm Vulcan, so it's going to get a 1. Now as for features, the F-106A gets an IRST and an HMD, along with having access to a drag parachute and an internal weapons bay that decreases drag. So it's going to get a 10 out of 10 for features. As for the durability of this vehicle, it is very flimsy. Majority of your time, your wings just absolutely rip off or you lose vertical stabilization. I've only been able to tank hits to wings occasionally, so it's going to get a 2 out of 10 for durability. Moving over to difficulty, this vehicle is very difficult without any access to countermeasures and a really bad flight model if you keep going into dogfights. Not to mention the missiles are very inconsistent and you have to balance a weapon bay with access to your 20mm. So overall, this is a harder event vehicle, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 difficulty. As for the fun value, this vehicle can get quite boring just due to the fact that you're booming and zooming a lot and you constantly have to avoid enemies with all aspect IR missiles. Although there still were some pretty great moments while using this aircraft, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10 for the fun value. And then finally for the worth value, it just feels like an F-104 if it was a little bit different. And overall, it's just kind of mid. So for the worth value, I'm also going to give it a 3 out of 10. This gives it an overall score of a 49 out of 100. And if you're wondering how many Gaijin coin I believe it's going to come out for, I think about 20. I wouldn't go much over that just because it is such a mid vehicle in the long run.